good.
Yeah, we have another episode coming on.
Another episode.
Yes, and more debunking.
More debunking. I feel like there's just a lot out there to debunk.
Yeah. Well,
So we'll be here for a while.
Seriously, because some of it you almost need like more time because it's like it's a half truth. Like we could see why it would make sense.
Yeah.
But it actually doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. Like when you think about it, like in theory, it should work that way. But really, when you come right down to it, it's a myth.
Yeah. Exactly. So today we will be going over another 5, right? And you have the list.
Yes. Are we ready to start?
You know what? I think so.
Okay.
Because there's no sugarcoating it.
Okay. So here we go. Eating late at night makes you fat.
All right. So let's talk about this because that actually is something that I used to tell people too. Like, hey, if you eat late, you go straight to bed, your metabolism's not working. But it can make you gain weight, but not because of your metabolism issues.
Right. And we know that our daily overall calorie intake versus expenditure is what really matters when it comes to gaining or losing weight. It doesn't necessarily matter what time of day you're consuming those calories.
Exactly. Yeah. And, that I think the reason people struggle with weight and eating late at night is because when you're late at night, I mean, you're eating the whole pantry. Like you just think about what you have after dinner. It's never good.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially, and it can go one of two ways. It can be either you've kind of deprived yourself all day,
Correct.
maybe like saving some calories for dinner, but then
Yes.
you're so starving by the time you get home that, you eat dinner and you're still not satisfied. And then you have another snack before bed. And, so it's your body's way of like making up for the calories that you skip during the day.
Right.
So that's one way it happens. But then also, for somebody that does stay kind of like on track with like a good steady calorie intake throughout the day, if you do have a late night snack, it's probably in excess of the calories that you need.
Exactly.
And it's not that the problem isn't that it's right before bed. It's just that it's excess calories.
That's exactly right. And, oftentimes I'm just thinking about looking at me, like if it's at bedtime, you're craving something sweet or something crunchy, you're going for a bag of chips, you're going for, Girl Scout cookies. And the amount of patients that tell me like, oh, I just want a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
cereal is like the late night snack that we hear.
Exactly. And I mean, no one eats a serving size. You get the big bowl.
You get the bowl.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to measure that out, it would probably be like, 3 cups or something at least.
Exactly. Right. And so instead of doing like, okay, I'm just doing, 120 calories of Cheerios, which usually is not that, it's something else. We're doing like 500 calories of straight high fructose corn syrup. And of course, we talked, 2 weeks about fatty liver, which is surprisingly a popular episode. It's being stored because of the food content, not because of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
that one's debunked.
Right. So, well, and Melissa, before we move on, what should they eat before bed? I mean, if you had to eat something, we can do something other than like cereal or cookies or something like that.
Something that's going to be kind of a good, well-rounded snack, something that has a good fiber-filled carbohydrate, a healthy fat, and maybe a little protein.
Yeah.
So I always like to do either like an apple with some almond butter or, if you don't have that, maybe just something that has a little bit of each of your macronutrients. It'll keep you feeling full throughout the night, and it's not excessive to the point where, you're overdoing it right at the end of the day.
That's perfect. Yeah. So just if you want to eat late at night, just got to be a little smarter about it. And fruit is always a good option. Number 2, let's go ahead to the second myth.
The second myth is eating small, frequent meals boosts metabolism.
Now, Melissa, we did a poll, and this was the second most picked choice. And this is one that I think has permeated nutrition science for a long, long time.
Yeah, and I think the theory, again, it sounds good in theory, but
Right.
whether it's going to make you lose weight or not is a whole nother issue entirely.
Correct.
yeah, we do get a little boost in our metabolism just with our body, like digesting food and that process, but it's not enough and sustained long enough to really make any difference with your overall energy expenditure for the day.
Correct.
So whether you eat 3 times a day or 5 times a day, it's not enough to make any significant difference.
That's exactly right. So you're exactly right. Like the concept is, okay, if I eat frequently, and the buzzword there that makes it false is it affects your metabolism. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's like getting $5 when you're a millionaire. Like, sure, it's better than 0, but it's very, very small in the big, the big thing, the big picture, big thing. Okay. But I think the reasons why people might feel like it works for them, and it might work for some people, is because it stops you from having those big binge eating sessions, right? So for a person, if you feel like, okay, if I eat 5 meals a day and I end up eating less calories because I'm not having that, I get home from work, I haven't eaten since noon, I only had a snack bar at noon, and I'm starving, raving mad, and I'm like tearing up the house. If it stops you from doing that, that's where you're going to get the benefit.
Yeah.
But the boost from metabolism, it doesn't really do that at all.
Right. Yeah. And that's where the myth is. Like you said, if you do get some benefit, it's more because, you're not overeating at the meals that you do have, because hopefully you're staying more satisfied throughout the day and not having like those cravings or, overeating when it is finally time to eat 5 hours later. So yeah, you may get some benefit, but it's usually not from like the buzzword that we normally hear.
Yeah. I have a funny story. I had a patient that did this advice, but he kept gaining weight. And the only word he left out was small.
So he just ate like 5 to 6 meals a day.
Exactly. He literally said like, well, I thought I had to eat to lose weight. And I was like, what? So he would not be hungry and literally eat a full meal before bed because he had to. Yes. So if you do that, and the flip side also is this is not like snacking 5 times a day. This is not like I eat Cheetos twice and then I eat like McDonald's the other 3. Like that's not what we're talking about. This is like, if you were going to do this, you do want to have meals that fill all those macronutrients. Like, so maybe you have eggs and toast. First of all, don't run away from toast, but like egg and toast or yogurt for breakfast. Then for a snack, you might have apples with almond butter, and then for lunch, something like. So that's the kind of quality of food we're talking about. If you wanted to do something like this,
make it good. Good quality food. The things that we're need to be eating anyway.
Yeah, so we've debunked 2 already. All right, Melissa, we are chugging along.
3. Sorry, I should have had that pulled
up.
It's
okay.
Okay. This is a good one. Detox diets eliminate toxins in the body.
Melissa, we're going to stay on this one for a little bit.
We're going to save you a lot of money.
Yes, we are.
Because anything that you see that says like detoxify or whatever, like there's all kinds of supplements and diet programs and things like that. You don't have to waste your money on those.
No, please don't.
We have organs that do that for us.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this idea of detoxing. Okay, so first of all, like you said, we have organs. Like our body is designed to detox. And the big detoxing organs, usually liver and kidneys. There is a big maybe theory for health that I've seen a lot of physicians talk about, which is, protect the liver and feed the gut. Meaning like the foods or the exercise that we're doing needs to focus on these 2 main things. A, making sure the probiotic, the microbiome in the gut is happy. So foods high in fiber, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, cutting down the processed foods. So that takes care of the gut. But protecting the liver. So that's a big one because we've seen when the liver fails, it's bad. And the liver is a very regenerative organ. It's a very resilient organ. It is one of the only organs, I think, that you cut and it can actually regenerate and grow back. So it's a pretty special thing. But it's really good at detoxing itself if we just feed it the right things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're not feeding it right. We're just doing all sorts of crazy things to it.
Yeah. And there's no supplement or concoction that you can take that will like flush your liver. There's all these things that we see like detox your liver and flush it and whatever.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you need to buy to do that.
Yeah.
There was an article today that that came up on the computer, but it was about lemon water, which is a big one, like all over social media, you know, drink warm lemon water in the morning to detox your liver and like affect your, you know, cravings and all kinds of claims. I'm like, it's a lemon and water, which I mean, yeah, it's not going to hurt you if you like the taste of warm lemon water and it makes you feel good.
Yes.
You know, I don't think it's going to do you any harm, but it's not going to do all the things that it claims.
Correct.
This article was claiming that the vitamin C from the lemon would like boost your metabolism. Like if vitamin C was like the answer, I mean, we should be able to fix that pretty fast for everybody. But, you know, and then the disclaimer at the bottom of the article was like, of course, you know, a healthy diet and exercise is essential, you know, but, you know, if the lemon water makes you feel better, I guess.
I just have to laugh like the whole time you're mentioning that.
You know, it's just like, it's claims. And in this case, it's not anything harmful, but there's a lot of things out there that can be harmful if, you know, and waste a lot of money, you know, to like support claims that aren't actually real. Yeah,
exactly. And you know, lemon water is a big one. Apple cider vinegar. Okay. We just got to get off the apple. Again, you're right. Low harm risk, right? Apple cider vinegar probably doesn't have any harm at all. But the true benefit is also practically zero.
Yeah.
And especially if your idea is like, well, if I just take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, but I eat trash food the rest of the day, that really doesn't do anything. And we've actually had a couple of studies actually looking at common detoxing, like cabbage soup diet, or, you know, drink nothing but X or do nothing but X. And what they found out is for most people, all they end up losing is water weight, and they become bad malnourished, low nutrient density. I mean, and you lose all sorts of nutrients. And the trade-off, right? So you don't have any protein in a cabbage soup diet, whatever. You'll lose muscle mass. You'll lose all these other things that ends up becoming more harmful than actually helpful.
Yeah. And it looks like you've lost weight, and you probably have, but it's not, you know, it's not necessarily fat loss. You're losing everything else.
Yeah.
There was one other thing that, go ahead, I was going to chime in on something else. I don't remember what it was.
No, well, I think, you know, it is a mystery that we are all, I think there was a quote that says, what makes man different from the animals is we like taking pills. You know? Yeah, it's almost like, you know, you don't see rabbits detoxing themselves.
Oh, the detox teas.
Oh, the diarrhea tea.
Yes. All it's going to do is make you poop. And yeah, you'll like lose some weight, but it's because you're...
Oh my goodness. So can you imagine, like, okay, obviously we are beyond the dating age. Like, we're married, we're in a different phase of life, but trying to like get your body to look a certain type of way to go to the beach with a date, and you've been doing the detox tea and just
I mean, that could be a bad combination.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and people will do anything for like upcoming event, beach trip, wedding, whatever. Just be smart about it.
Yeah. And especially with these okay, so once you go beyond just like lemon water, apples, like these like detox concoctions, weird things that you're drinking, medicines, especially if you have other medicines on board, you do have to be careful. I mean, if you're on insulin with diabetes and all of a sudden you're diarrhea, you're not eating, I mean, it can set you off into really bad things, or heart failure, now fluid imbalances, electrolyte imbalances like this. Now you can actually get to something dangerous.
Yeah, and a lot of those supplements, they do go through the liver because that's just the natural process. But yeah, it can be stressful to the liver too. So
yeah. So our recommendation is that instead of spending all this money on weird detoxing things from the internet, just like use that money to buy higher quality food.
Yeah. Just eat regular food. Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to do anything super special. Like keep it simple. Eat your fruits and vegetables, you know, everything that you know you're supposed to eat, and just,
Yeah. And see, most of our patients are really smart, because on the poll, they did not pick that one as the truth.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, the ones that did, I'm looking at you. No, but yes, I think we will. That one might be the biggest one. Like, just be careful with all those things.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4.
Number 4.
No pain, no gain.
Ooh, this is tough. Well, okay, so
tough.
Melissa, you know when you lift weights and that next day you have that good, like, I did
Soreness
something. Yeah.
I know. And it is hard, for anybody that works out, it is sometimes good to feel like you've done something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't need to be beating yourself up either.
Correct.
So to get good results, your body needs rest. Your body needs like low impact days.
Correct.
So it needs to be kind of a good mixture. Yeah. I mean, it's fine to have sore muscles. That's a good thing. It's, you're building new muscle and things like that, but you don't have to be like all out in pain for exercise to be beneficial.
Yeah. And I would say, especially in our age group, which we're still young, I keep saying our age group.
We're getting older.
I feel a little bit more like my legs are still sore from yesterday's workout, but it is one of those, like, the biggest reasons why people stop working out is injury. And so at this time, especially reflecting back, like, there are weights I was lifting when I was in 18 that I had no business lifting. And the next day you will feel a tweak, your head would hurt, your knees would hurt, your back would hurt, but you're like, whatever, And when you're young, your body will kind of, be okay. But now you hear all the time when people say form is more important than weight, like making sure your deadlift or your squat or your bench press or your push-up has the right form. That plays more of a role than trying to lift a weight you can't, so you mess up your form, or you're doing rep counts that are way too high, like CrossFit, and you tweak your shoulder. And a lot of patients, after they tear their shoulder, they hurt their back, they don't go back. And so the risk of injury leading to poor health in the future is way higher than having an ego and pushing yourself beyond. Just to feel like if you don't push yourself there, you didn't get a good workout.
Yeah. And pushing yourself through a workout to feel some kind of way, I used to feel like if I wasn't like dripping in sweat at the end of my workout, I must not have burned enough calories or, it wasn't necessarily worth it. And that's why a lot of people will skip exercise, if they don't feel like they can commit 45 minutes or an hour to really hit it hard, then they just won't do anything at all.
Yeah.
Whereas if they could just walk 10 minutes, fill that time with some sort of movement and still get some benefit rather than none at all.
Sure.
We kind of have this all or nothing mindset sometimes. And sometimes we just need some moderation there and do it anyway, scale it back sometimes. Your body needs rest sometimes, but getting a little bit in is better than nothing.
100%. Because I love what you said there. A lot of people do have this all or nothing mindset, and unfortunately it's always on nothing. Yeah.
It's real easy to skip it.
Yeah. If I can't do it, then I might as well not do any. And you're exactly right. I mean, I think our past podcast covering exercise, any is better than none. And, when we have a challenge, so people that are listening, and then probably the next 2 weeks when we release it, I mean, you're going to look at some of these rep counts. And for some people who've been working out, they're going to be like, this is not enough.
Yeah.
But for some people who haven't done anything, just doing that rep count will make a difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you don't have to do anything crazy. And our challenge will be things that are very accessible to anybody at home. And with no equipment, those kinds of things, just knowing that you can move your body basically any time of any day and still get something beneficial for your body.
Absolutely. And I think to follow on this no pain, no gain type of things, rest days are really important. You have to take the days, if you're going to push yourself to the point where you're going to hurt yourself, you do have to take time to heal. And sometimes that is a full day of just walking in the neighborhood. You love the HIIT exercises. You love feeling that burn, but you need days where you sleep well to recover. So that's a sleep thing, but also days where it's light impact. And you might not feel like you're not burning calories that day. That's okay. Your body needs those days to repair and build that muscle correctly.
Yeah, kind of that active recovery. And I think we talked about that in maybe the exercise episode or one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need just kind of recovery. And if you want to remain active, going for a walk, doing some yoga, just something lower impact is still beneficial. And your next workout following that active rest is going to be more efficient. You'll be able to, kind of get back to it
exactly
at full force.
Yep. See, that's exactly right. Better than just half doing things because you're hurting.
Exactly.
Then, you rather just rest up, finish it the next day, and do, you want to work out well. And like I said, we want you to work out and be active for a long time. So this, like, no pain, no gain, push yourself till you feel like you're about to pop, and then you actually do pop something. Like, there's no need for that. And we've got studies showing that even from a muscle growth standpoint, taking rest days, just doing the workout without feeling that crazy soreness, you still get the benefit of muscle fiber growth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Melissa.
Last but not least.
And this one should hit home for you, girlie.
Okay. Yeah. If women lift weights, they will get bulky. So,
yes.
Yeah.
You don't look bulky to me.
I mean, maybe. No. But yeah, I think women in general, and I mean, I don't know about men, but women in general kind of have this stigma about weightlifting that, if I lift weights or lift heavy weights, I'll get bulky.
Yeah.
No,
not at all.
Women don't have enough testosterone, to even build, large muscle mass.
Correct.
So really, it's not even possible. Like, I can't even really explain it any differently. Yes. It's just not really possible. But I will say, muscle does take up space, so there, if you are working on building muscle, you can expect, like, maybe certain areas of your clothing fit a little bit differently, but it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is the part where we'll add a couple of things. So first of all, I think from a weight training standpoint, so important for bone health, for osteoporosis protection, especially in women, for muscle, and for fall prevention, all these things that are big problems as we age. Building muscle prevents that from happening. I'm also on the flip side, or continue on that, I really do like the trend that we're going in now. When we're growing up, the women have to be skinny. I mean, like skinny. Yeah, enough to be like, you're almost bony. Like,
like that 90s, like just 90s, like the magazines, everybody was like,
that's right,
rail thin. And
yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. And now obviously we're shifting more to a time where the beautiful is strong. Strong is beautiful. It's not skinny, it's strong. So more and more women have started developing, like, okay, I can do some weight training. Now, a lot of women, and not all of them, but a lot of women that are super like bulky, they're on something.
Yeah. And they're doing that for like competition purposes or things like that. You're not going to accidentally end up like that.
That's right.
These people that you see that are like, in bodybuilding competitions or things like that. Yeah, they may be on something. They are paying such close attention to their like macronutrients and they're going through cutting and like all this stuff to like get down to like such low body fat. They don't maintain that year round.
Correct.
Like, they get to that point for their competition and then they, kind of revert back to, a different, way of eating. They're not in that cut year round. Like, it would not be sustainable. Like, women, would lose their periods, would lose bone mass, all these things that women are not designed to have such low body fat.
Yeah.
So those people that you see, it's not like you're just going to accidentally like
That's right.
get all these like, crazy muscles.
Exactly. And I think the second point is because muscle is leaner than fat, a lot, like, you look super lean and healthy, Melissa. So you look great. Yeah. And that's the kind of the body shape that you'll probably end up finding more than just like all these muscles. And for those people, like I said, they're trying to get there. Like I said, they're in a program. They're lifting crazy weights. I mean, you'll see women hip thrust like 400 pounds, and you're like, that's not possible. So you have to actively try to look that type of way. But if you train with volume, you do different sets of weights, you do different types of exercises, it can keep you strong without giving you this look that you don't want.
Right.
And like say, and to further say that, it might make your scale look funny, which is, the amount of women here that I think are so nervous about the scale. Like, weightlifting increases the weight, it makes the scale go up. Even if they look better, they're thinner, their arms look slender and toned.
That number.
Yes, that number.
It is. It's crazy because I've dealt with this, and we probably need to plan to do a whole nother episode on this because there's a lot to talk about here. So just let us know if you want that one, because there's, so much push for women to like weigh a certain number, and people will make or break their day by the number that they see on that scale in the morning. And what I've come to realize as I've gotten like older and wiser is that, and just like learning a lot about this, I've heard like, if you look at a woman who looks toned and lean and things like that, she probably weighs more than you realize, and she probably has been lifting weights to get that shape.
Yes.
And the body that you want is going to weigh more than you want it to. Because as you start to build muscle to get a certain shape, muscle weighs something. So, you may even see that scale go up a little bit, but you're not going to get the look you want without, building something. We've got to stop like starving ourselves thin to where we just look like, exactly, like we're wasting away, and actually like fuel our bodies to build something.
Yeah. That A plus, Melissa. Exactly. And I think next week when we release that episode, which we recorded with a personal trainer, you need to fuel the body to exercise to get the body that you want. And like you said, most women that look, especially on Instagram, you see a lot of them, they probably weigh more than you think they do. And even when they've lowered the body fat, especially with guys will want to cut and lose some, they still weigh more than you think if you want that type. Now, obviously, I'm not trying, I'm too old to be getting that kind of body type. But the number on the scale doesn't matter as much than, say, the waist circumference around your stomach. The visceral fat, and we've talked about this before, from a health standpoint, that is the issue. And so for women, we strongly encourage, weight training and push-ups and all these things, because we just think the health benefit farther down the line. And even now, you feel better. You can do the one trip grocery, right? You just grab it off and move. Or no one wants to go like 4 times. Like you can take your kids up. You can like dragging the kids in the wagon during soccer season and throwing all your stuff in there. And you just feel like you can do more things when you're stronger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. And we've got to get away from like measuring ourselves by a number on the scale. It's so damaging. And, after spending like the majority of my adult life, like chasing a certain number, like it got me nowhere, other than just like feeling disappointment in myself, So it's kind of one of those things, like the sooner you can learn that, the better.
Yeah.
And the happier you'll be, the more confident you'll be, the whole thing. So
yeah, well, and I think you're right, Melissa. We probably will need to do a whole episode on the psyche of weight loss, because I remember even Jen, like when she was running track and cross country. Obviously, she was a sprinter, so she had certain muscle development type, but the clothes that women are in when they compete even makes your brain think like, well, I gotta get thinner because I gotta wear this to run. We're talking about like beach volleyball, tennis, Lord have mercy. Yeah, so
and that's all women's sports. I mean, gymnasts,
gymnasts.
Tennis, cheerleaders. Like, I mean, it's like our bodies are just on display. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode. But yeah, people feel they have to look a certain way, and usually they think they're going to look that way by getting their weight down. But really, it takes like building the muscle to. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Melissa, I think to wrap these things up, so we, today we debunked 5 more. First one being eating late at night makes you fat. We realize it's not the timing, because the metabolism doesn't really change very much throughout the day, but it's more the food quality people choose at night. So obviously that's just something to watch out for. Maybe choosing a healthier snack before bedtime or the evening, or don't do ice cream and pie dessert every single night. Things like that is what affects the weight more than the timing. The second one we debunked today was
Oh,
well, I'll skip the third. The detox things.
yeah, we talked about 2 was the small frequent meals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we learned that, it's not the small frequent meals more so that affect your metabolism, more so that if you eat small things so you're not ravaging and hungry.
It helps your appetite throughout the day.
Yeah. And so for some people that works. Some people it might not work so well, but it's not the like, oh, if I can't eat 5 meals a day, my metabolism is messed up. That has nothing to do with that.
Yeah. The detox, don't waste your money. Just eat food and let your body do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
And then no pain, no gain.
Correct.
You need your rest. You need moderation.
Yeah.
All that. And then the bulky
Don't
weightlifting woman.
No,
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that, right? Unless you're actively trying with a personal trainer and doing a bunch of supplements and eating a crazy amounts of protein, you don't have to worry about that. And like I said, I'm really happy that we are starting to trend toward strong is beautiful, because obviously I have a daughter and she's doing gymnastics. And so these are some things that we want. By the time she gets to that teenage years where those thoughts of how other people look at her will start to matter, hopefully we'll be in a different stage where
I hope so. And there's been studies that like the one factor that can change a girl's confidence is weightlifting. So I feel like, and maybe there will be more studies that, kind of delve into that. But a lot of that is like up here, rather than just your body. But yeah, I hope for the girls, in future generations, it'll be a lot easier and more accepting of that.
Yes. Well, okay, Melissa. Right. So we are done with our 10 myths. Next week, we are going to be pushing out a 4-week challenge. And the interest is there. A lot of people have commented on the photos of watching you do your stuff, Melissa.
Just
so
demonstrating.
There you go, girl. Well, we're excited to put that out there because I think it can really help people realize how strong their body can be, realize how active they can be from anytime, anywhere. So for our listeners to keep their eyes on, I think we're going to release the audio on Thursday next week, a kind of a baseline fitness test on Friday. And then starting Monday, we got some things going.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Melissa.
Yeah. Thanks.